Hey gang, welcome to the inaugural edition of Booker Z. I am the Nate Dam Z, and I'm going to talk about how I would book certain things if I were somehow hired by WWE Creative. And I kept going back and forth on which one I wanted to do first, part of why I haven't took so long to do this. And given current storylines, I finally settled on this is how I would handle Retribution. Because I saw a rumor headline that Roman Reigns was going to be the leader of Retribution. And at the time, don't misunderstand me because I love what they're doing with Roman right now. Recording this the night of right before Clash of Champions. Because the real world, we all know the real world reason he wasn't at WrestleMania. He's immune compromised, his wife just had twins, or was pregnant with twins at the time, I don't remember which. He didn't want to get sick, he didn't want to get his family sick. And despite WWE telling us they would explain why he wasn't there, they didn't. It's just randomly Braun with no build-up. And they stopped talking about Roman completely to the point where he's no longer, they cut him out of footage when they talk about like certain big matches that he was a part of. So, in a sense, their biggest star was just cast aside. So, him being the leader makes sense to me, especially when we first saw his shirt wreck everyone and leave. Because when Retribution started, that's kind of what they were doing. They were wrecking everything. Eventually they started wrecking people, and then they would get the hell out. So, yeah, that's the connection I made in my brain. The other part of this is, you gotta understand, WWE has the seed of a good idea here. They're just using the wrong people. For example, Mia Yim is a member of Retribution. I know she's going under a different name now, but... And only watching NXT takeovers, I knew she was one of their bigger names, at least in the women's division. She was part of the Mae Young Classic. And from my understanding, most of Retribution, it's the same thing. These aren't people that WWE has cast aside. They're just not, except for maybe Dio. But there are plenty of people that WWE has cast aside. This is forever ago, but watching a wrestling video on YouTube, it mentioned that WWE at any given time has a ridiculous number of people under contract. Like 75, 200, 300, it was some crazy number. Those are the three that are stuck in my head, but those are the numbers. Where are they? Because of the way WWE works, they're independent contractors. They can't wrestle anywhere else as long as they're under WWE contract. So have them be in Retribution, because the Retribution's whole thing was, we were promised to become superstars, and we were cast aside. And even people... It's like, this has been my go-to example, even though I know they were released as part of that huge thing in April. The Colognes tag team. I saw the Colognes exactly twice. When it was Survivor Series 18, because we haven't done 2020 and it wasn't 19. So, Survivor Series 2018, New Day was doing the recruitment for that weird tag team match they had that they kept calling it traditional, but I haven't seen anything like it before or since. They retired the New Day, Sanity. It was the Usos doing this, I don't remember if I mentioned that. And then I saw these two guys look like twins. I was like, who the hell are they? Are they local talent? And Blackbird just goes, oh no, those are the Colognes. Okay. I think the Good Brothers were there too. But okay. Then I saw them during the event. And then never again. Recently, as part of their build for Matt Riddle, they had him fight Tony Nese, who used to be a cruiserweight, because I remember he was the cruiserweight, one of the cruiserweight title matches for one of the pay-per-views. Hadn't seen him since. And I only see him to job for Matt Riddle. So, yeah, even with going to the people who we don't even know who are on contract, there's still plenty of people we never see that these arguments would be perfectly valid. You know, make it Heath Slater. Yeah, Heath Slater. I don't know, I mean, I've only seen him as the comedic jobber, but I don't know how well he would work as a menace, but his bit with Drew recently was really good. But, and that's what's frustrating me about the storyline. Not so much it's bad. It's bad, don't get me wrong, but there's such a seat. You could have had something really, really good here, and they just blew it because they're not self-aware enough, or Vince isn't self-aware enough. So, that's how I would do Retribution. None of this T-Bar stuff. I happen to think Slapjack is a cool name, but not for a serious wrestler. But I'm doing good on time. But yeah, and that's what's frustrating me. And because I built it so much in my head with the whole Roman Reigns rumor, I think. To me, this feels like the modern day equivalent of the Invasion. You know, I wasn't around the wrestling fandom at the time, but I've heard enough to know just what a letdown it was, how it could have been this amazing, awesome thing, and it just wasn't because it wasn't handled correctly. So, yeah, this could have been good, this could have been interesting, instead it's just dumb. It's so dumb. But, so I think I don't want to go too long, so I think I've said all I need to say. This was the first episode of Booker Z. I'm going to give it to Blackbird. He'll put it up whenever he puts up. And don't know when I'm going to do the next one, but it'll be my take on Bray the Fiend Wyatt. Till then.